4 extremely creepy true Airbnb horror stories. We're here with a new video where we're going to uncover 4 creepy true Airbnb horror stories. Story 1. A beautiful house by the beach in Miami. What comes to your mind? Great sunset, scenic views, and gorgeous moments? What if we tell you that one Airbnb in this location is haunted? Let's take a look at its history. A beautiful place in Miami was where a young man owned a beautiful house. But he did not live there himself and instead lived with his girlfriend at her place. He used to have several renters, usually looking for a place to party and relax for a day or two. Out of nowhere, he got a request from an older couple that they wanted to rent the place, which was a little odd as usually teenagers and youngsters rented this place, and the older generation didn't prefer the area. He gave them space and went over to his girlfriend's home. Suddenly, a message came from the couple saying there was an issue with the heater. So the owner drove up there to check the case, even though before every booking, he used to check every detail and ensure that the place was in perfect condition. After reaching the house, he noticed that the driveway had an extra car. He thought that the couple might have had a visitor, which wasn't allowed, but he dismissed it. After going inside, the man pointed the owner towards the heater and told him that there was a leak. For you all to know, the basic bolts were loosened and could be easily fixed, such that nothing was broken. But the weird thing about this was that he found a wrench kept over the heater. The owner fixed the problem and greeted the man. He told him to enjoy his stay further and decided to leave. The man asked him to stay and help him with one more thing. The owner agreed and asked him what it was. The man told him that the cable in the guest bedroom was having issues and he could not use it. The guest bedroom was upstairs. The owner and the man walked towards the staircase, which was pretty dark. The man asked the owner to go ahead, which was pretty sketchy, so the owner questioned the man. He answered that as the house belonged to the owner, it was respectful of him to ask him to go first. The owner hesitated, but he accepted and started climbing the stairs. While he was going up, he saw someone standing atop the stairs. The person wasn't quite visible as it was dark. As he walked up, within a few more seconds, he realized someone was standing upstairs holding a crowbar. This is when he felt cautious and decided to leave the place instantly. As he moved back down the stairs, he told the man that he would come back later to resolve the issue he was having with the cable. The man looked directly at him and did not say a thing. The owner went straight to his car and called the police. Who do you think was holding the crowbar? The man's wife? Or was it something we couldn't even think about? This situation was super frightening for the owner, as well as confusing for the police, as they could not find any links or evidence to this potential intruder. Scary stories fascinate us all, no matter how fearful or fearless one is. But you're watching our videos without subscribing, and it is scaring the ever-living daylights out of us. Subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications to stay up to date with our upload schedule. Moving forwards to story 2. A 23-year-old man used to work for the Airbnb's customer service sector. One day, his car broke down in the snowstorm, so he called in at work to inform them that he would be late. The instructor was pretty considerate with him and allowed him an extra hour. After reaching the workplace, he came across 3 women who were taking the same training as he was. The 2 of them were continuously talking to each other, which was very distracting. At the same time, the other woman tried to fit in between the conversations. They later spoke about relationships, and 2 girls helped him plan a proposal. The 3rd woman joined the conversation and said she was dating a married man and would soon move in with him once he divorced. Later, Amy, one of the girls, dropped the boy at his place as his house was on the way, and the creepy girl Susan asked for a lift too, which was weirdly not a coincidence. After some time, the boy and his roommate ordered pizza, and along with it, he received a letter from Susan. The letter had hearts over it. The issue was how she knew where he lived. A few days passed, and she kept trying to approach him. Susan started texting him as well, which he constantly ignored. But one message was rather insane. It said, "I'll say you rape me if you don't respond." So he blocked her and filed a complaint with HR. After some time, they were shifted to separate teams, and she still used to follow him around the office. Then he learned that she had filed a sexual harassment report against him. Police showed up, and a lot of fuss happened. What are the woman's intentions? We still have no idea. Later, he spent 3 days in jail and was eventually proven innocent. His girlfriend broke up with him due to the sexual harassment case. He sold the ring and bought the car instead. The woman was fired, then vanished, and nobody ever heard from her again. Story 3. A man was moving houses and decided to make it a road trip. The total distance was going to take about 30 hours to travel, so he divided the drive between 3 shifts of 10 hours each. After every change, he would rest in an Airbnb or hotel. He reached around Nebraska and was looking for cheap Airbnbs. He found a small and cheap 2-bedroom apartment. Weirdly, the photos showcased pictures of just one room, though it didn't matter to him as he just wanted to rest before going forward. It got rather late and he had to drive in the dark on the straight roads of Nebraska. He reached the Airbnb where he found out that there weren't any locks at all. Out of 2, one of the bedrooms had a lock, so he decided to stay there for the night. Weirdly, there was a small doorway in the room. He tried to open the door, but it was locked from the other side. He became suspicious, but just went to sleep as he was tired. He woke up right in the middle of the night and heard a soft tapping noise from the edge of the bed. He switched on the flashlight and nothing was there. He was already creeped out because of the doorway, so he decided to pick up his stuff and rush out of the house. It was still dark, but he just went straight to the car. As he was backing the car up, he saw a man lying on the ground behind the house. He didn't stop the car for 30 minutes and then texted the owner. The owner saw the message a few moments later, but did not reply. Story 4. A couple was visiting the girl's parents and they did not want to stay at the parents' house, hence decided to rent an Airbnb near the place. The host seemed nice and the place was affordable despite some negative reviews they didn't pay much mind to. They went to their parents' house for dinner and returned late at night. They saw that someone was staring out the window from a different apartment. It was an older woman, around 60 or 70 years old. The couple saw her again at the top of the staircase when they went to their apartment. She stood there saying nothing. They entered the apartment as the woman stared. Things were fine once they entered, but suddenly at night they heard a constant banging noise for about a minute, which happened around 4 a.m. The boyfriend tried to look through the peephole but didn't see anything. Then he opened the door and you won't believe what he found. 3 dead rats on the welcome mat. They closed the door and called the owner. The girl couldn't sleep, so she woke up and made herself some coffee. She looked outside the window and saw the older woman staring at their car. Then out of nowhere she shrieked and shouted as loud as she could. She started screaming, asking why they wouldn't leave and why they had to come. Police arrived alongside the owner, and they saw the old woman as she was there lying beside the car. The host informed them that this had not happened before and refunded them. Whatever this was, it was not normal and it was quite terrifying. And that brings us to the ending of today's scary stories. We're terrified to rent Airbnb now, but you don't have to be scared because we will keep you updated with such interesting and scary stories to keep you entertained. But you must first hit the subscribe button to stay updated with our channel, Just Scary. See you in the next one.